Oh my gosh. We have to say the intro.
We do. Jen's not here. Hello and welcome to the Chronicles of Yarnia, the podcast from Montclair's local yarn store. I'm Kathleen.
Amanda. And that's it.
That feels weird. Jen is on vacation on the Cape. We hope to have a little video from her later.
Yep.
And Haley is on vacation in the south of France, that lucky girl.
They are both near the water.
They are. Yep, and actually...
We are near the water too, but that's because it's raining outside.
Oh my god, has it been for days and days. I looked at the weather when Haley was ready to leave, and, you know, we've had, 6 weeks of incredible, beautiful weather, right? No rain, no humidity, and, for the next 10 days, thunderstorms every day. And we've now been through 6 of those days.
Yeah.
Thunderstorms every day.
Yeah.
It has not been fun.
My tomatoes are happy.
That's
about it.
Yeah. So also with Jen not here today, we can do episode number.
Yeah. You
probably know, and I didn't even try to hide it today.
Yeah. Well, I know it's 104, right?
That's right. It is 104.
Because I update it every time.
Exactly. So yeah, we are up to 104. Boy, that went fast from 100 to 104, didn't it?
Yes, but I was watching Nitty Natty's podcast yesterday, and she's at 186, and I'm like, that's so far.
I know. She's been doing it a long time. Yeah.
And she does weekly now. There's points that she didn't, and now she does.
Yeah.
That doubles your feet.
It definitely, it helps those numbers click along more quickly. Yeah. So.
But I would not be able to show y'all as interesting progress if we did this every week.
I know. I think every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks is kind of a sweet spot. It really is. I like it. It keeps it fun for us. Hopefully, it keeps it fun for you.
Yeah.
And like you said, we definitely have a lot more progress because this is not all we do.
No.
not that most people.
It is what I do while I'm doing the other things that I do. So.
True. And it is what I do when I finally sit down at about 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Last night, we had a free night, so and it was raining, so we didn't go out and walk around town. So what did I do? What did I do to relax? I cleaned my bedroom until 11:30 at night.
It's a good thing to do.
Yeah, we just watched stand-up comedy and cleaned the bedroom. So
whatever you gotta do.
It felt very adulting.
Yeah, to spend time doing it.
But my room looks nicer.
I've been trying to. Weekends tend to be when I do things like that a little bit more, and I've been trying to get myself to really go through. I know I have some clothes I'm going to donate and put on our. There was a group we had called Buy Nothing, but apparently, have you heard? There's this whole thing with Buy Nothing that it's no longer really. It's become like an LLC or something. It's become an entity, which is kind of hilarious, right? But there is a whole backstory. But our group, the Montclair Glen Ridge group, has been so active. They got great moderators.
Yes.
They have actually proactively separated themselves from the organization so that they can continue to operate in the same way and have people give and take things within the community. So I've done it before, and I feel like I need to do it. I just know it takes a little bit of time to get going with it, and then once you do, you can get it into that flow. So I'm looking forward to that.
My plan now is to move my plants around. That's what I've been noodling. Where are they going to go? Because where they are, I need to put a big piece of art on the wall, so they've got to move somewhere else.
I am not good with plants. I'm not. I'm good with outside plants. I'm not good with house plants.
Well, it helps that we've got 6 wraparound windows plus 3 skylights in the living room. So
that would make a difference. I think that I was never good, and then our house is north facing.
Yes.
And then we have a porch on the back on the south side, so there is not a lot of light coming in.
Yeah, you don't have the natural light. It's virtually impossible.
Yeah.
Someone's going to comment that it's not virtually impossible. I give you the grow lights, which is true.
Haley, we have grow lights on the 3rd floor of our house. Haley has a whole succulent, I don't know, she's got maybe 50 succulents, which Jean takes care of 90% of the time because she's away at school most of the time.
And you can turn on your grow lights to feed your plants. I focus mostly on feeding my children.
Yeah, that's good.
Nature and sunlight.
Living things that speak, right? Yes. They get priority.
So, what have you been doing?
What have I been doing? I've been doing a good amount of knitting. I've been working a lot here, working on overhauling some of our processes, which is good because, continuous improvement, it's a good thing. It's like when things are good, you want to make them even better.
Yeah.
Right? So
if you notice, give our team a gold star.
That's right. Watching Haley from afar as she's on her fun travels in France. And then by Friday she flies to London. So get to see some things from there. But
I have all events that I did related to knitting. So maybe I'll intersperse that. Tell y'all what I've been doing as I tell you what I've been working on.
Cool.
Oh my goodness, good. I have so much news. I just thought about I have so many things. I have 3 things to tell y'all about.
And see, I don't know either, so this is good.
Yeah, you don't. It's not going to be a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
First, and this goes with what I'm wearing. I'm wearing today the Soldotna by Caitlin Hunter.
Yeah.
Which was our Rhinebeck
That's right.
sweater in 2018.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Is that true?
Sounds right to me.
2019.
Okay, yeah.
I went in 2018 and I wore my Comfort Fade Cardi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Next year I didn't go. It was 2019.
I went and we had a little photo with a bunch of people. Have to see if we can find that.
Right, and we had a photo here at the store.
Right, exactly.
With everybody.
Remember Karen Burzens was in that.
Yes.
You were there, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll find those. I'll put them in here.
Yeah.
Soldotna party. But last year you were at Rhinebeck, New York Sheep and Wool Festival, which comes in October. 3.5 months from now.
Yeah,
and
it's soon.
I was having such serious FOMO that I booked an Airbnb for this year during last year's Rhinebeck.
That's the way to do it. Get your choice. Yeah.
So we have a place Thursday night all the way to Sunday. And I just got a note from our Airbnb host. By the way, we just put a hot tub in. The rate's going to go up by $30 a night. I hope you don't mind. I'm like, no, I don't mind. That's going to be great.
Cool.
A hot tub in October.
Perfect.
After wool all day long.
Walking around, yep.
It's going to be so nice. So, I don't mind. Thank you to my Airbnb host. But last Saturday, the Untangled tickets went on sale.
Yes, I did see that.
Oh my goodness.
Are they sold out already? Do you know? Or
the first
early slot, I'm sure, is.
Slot is sold out. So it went on sale at noon. And they instituted a new waiting room concept. So when you logged in, you were put into a waiting room. Except somehow that didn't work on Safari.
Oh, I hate that.
On the computer. It worked on Safari on your phone. It worked on Chrome. It did not work on Safari on your computer.
Ugh. Such a pain.
So by the time I realized that, Safari is the primary browser I use, right? I finally logged into Chrome, and then it was a 15-minute wait. It was already 12:07 or so by the time I realized that, and there was a 15-minute wait. And I'm like,
and you were there ready.
I was
annoying.
ready.
I know. The browser stuff, the same thing has happened to us with the post office has made some changes when we do shipping. And poor Joanna, who's been doing our shipping for a while now, it's every day there's a new issue. Certain labels can't print, but it's browser dependent. Those browsers, they will get you every time.
Yeah. So I was like emotional roller coaster because I was so ready to be right on 12 o'clock. Yeah. All my 1999 eBay sniping was into use again. And then crash because the browser thing. Then I was watching it, and it went from 12 minutes wait to 15 minutes wait to 16 minutes wait, and I'm like, how am I going up in time to wait? This is impossible.
I wonder if they had estimated how long things would take, and people were taking longer.
Well, then I started thinking, wait, I wonder if people are getting in through a back door.
True.
And then I thought, wait, my Safari browser on my Mac wasn't going to the waiting room. Maybe if I refresh on the Safari browser.
It's like getting Taylor Swift tickets, right?
Basically. Long story short, that worked, and I got 10 o'clock tickets.
Yay!
With the goodie bag for the Untangled. So I'm super excited we're going to be there. And since we're there on Thursday night, we'll be there bright and early on Saturday morning. And that means I'll be able to bring you guys footage from Untangled.
Yeah.
And then we can go to Woolen Folk for the afternoon. Because our slot is 10 to 11:30, I guess.
Yes.
Then we can go to Woolen Folk in the afternoon, and I'll have footage from that. And then we'll be at Rhinebeck both Saturday and Sunday. So y'all are going to get
lots of footage.
A lot of Rhinebeck footage.
Did you already get, were the Woolen Folk goes on sale soon, right? They had a video on Saturday.
Yes.
Also, I think.
Yeah, they weren't out yet. So,
and they moved to a new location this year.
Yes, they did.
I still have to watch that video, but I do have it bookmarked.
I need to as well. I need to put it in my calendar and plan again. And log in on Chrome, because that's a standard browser. I forgot that Safari is not supported. So anyway.
Yeah.
So this is my Rhinebeck from 2019, but now I'm very curious what's going to be the Rhinebeck sweater to do this year.
Well, and doesn't Andrea Mowry usually, has a Rhinebeck sweater? I know she did Alpenglow last year.
Yeah.
But when does she announce that? Is it July?
I thought it was like early August even, maybe late July.
Maybe, which I feel like that's a little late, like given all the other things we work on.
I was thinking that's okay if it's a worsted sweater.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If it's not, that's a problem.
Yeah.
If it's sport,
yeah.
I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know, we might want to pick our own Rhinebeck sweater.
We might.
We've talked about that before, so we'll have to think about that.
We'll have to think about that. And again, not the quiz for today, but if you're thinking of like, this is the sweater I'm going to do for Rhinebeck, and I think it would, and put it down below. And tell me if you think it would be fun to do as a group or not. Mm-hmm. Some sweaters I've done would not be fun to do as a group. Mm-hmm. Right? Like the big Nightingale Noragon.
Yeah.
Would not be fun to do as a group.
You just cry together.
Yes! It's so true.
I mean, it's beautiful, but it is a major endeavor.
And I only did the back panel once.
Yeah.
Right? Like
yeah. I do love that too. I could see doing that at some point.
But not for Rhinebeck.
No,
something like
that. That's more of a long-term thing. Yeah. Unless you're monogamous, which I'm so not with knitting. Yeah.
And like this took probably 3 weeks, maybe 2.5. Because it's DK at a loose gauge.
Yeah.
But yeah, and mine is knit in felted tweed. Mm-hmm. You knit yours in cotton cashmere, one of them.
Jen did a cotton cashmere, and I did Scout. I believe I did Scout with Tosh DK.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was pretty.
And I have some Villenvine yarn put aside that I'm probably going to do another one with someday. I've every now and then, because I love her color palette. It definitely is right in my wheelhouse too. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, this fall is going to be good for the knitting vlogs from Chronicles of Yarnia, because I'm going to be in Lyon at Knit Eat in September, late September. So y'all also get like video of that. But anyway, so that's what's been on my mind. But I do have other Rhinebeck sweaters, and that's what I've been working on. Literally, only been working on large projects this week. There's nothing tiny. Mm-hmm. So sweater number 1 for Rhinebeck that I have to finish.
Well, should I talk about finished objects too, or do we want to do...
Do you want to do finished objects, or do you want to talk about Rhinebeck?
Oh, go ahead and talk about Rhinebeck. Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll switch to knit-alongs.
Okay, sounds good.
Because my partner's coming with me. It's my partner's sweater, which is an Andrea Mowry sweater. And I made major progress on this week.
Yay. I do love it. I'm actually thinking about whether to do that one for Jean. Yep, it's so good.
So, yeah, this is Gib II by Andrea Mowry. I'm knitting it in Northlight fibers. They're worsted Atlantic in the color spruce, which we don't have anymore, and they don't wholesale anymore. But that's why I'm knitting it in this, is because I love their yarn, and they're not going to wholesale it anymore. But we have
sweater quantities of some colors still. Yeah. I have a lot of colors, actually. Not all colors, but a fair number.
So this one is coming along. I feel like I did such a good job. Like, he actually tried it on during knit night, so all of you who come to knit night.
Online knit night.
Yes, got to see him in it. There were no pictures because it comes like maybe an inch before his jeans, and he's like, "Don't take pictures of this." So it still needs probably another 5-ish inches and then some ribbing. But it's so beautiful. Progress.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
I feel like this is like possible now.
And it's still June. I mean, when you're seeing this, it's going to be July, but as we tape, it's June. So yeah, you're on a good pace. You're definitely on a good pace.
That has to finish. And then yesterday, I went to JFK.
Airport.
Yes, to do my global entry overview. Because I hadn't gotten global entry before, but we've got lots of international travel, and it would make coming in and out easier.
Yeah, it is definitely speeds things up. It's nice.
Yeah, so while I was in the cab on the way back from Mexico last spring, I applied for global entry. So, but the interviews take forever to book. It's been 3 months, and this was the earliest one I could get.
Yeah.
They do interviews at Newark Airport, which is much closer,
Mm-hmm.
but the wait was like 6 months. So
I did mine at the Canadian border one time coming back to Montreal.
Yeah, you can do.
But if you're going back and forth anyway, it pays. But we got one pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then Haley didn't go to school in Canada anymore, so what can you do?
Oh yeah, that'll help for Canadian entry as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, what am I going to take? Because I took public transit. I actually took the train here in Montclair, like the train that's right next to Yarnia. Took the New Jersey Transit all the way to Penn Station.
Mm-hmm.
Took the A train to Howard Beach. Mm-hmm. And then took the air train.
The train to the plane.
To the plane,
Yep.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it took about 2 hours, 15 minutes.
It's not too bad, because honestly, if you were driving, it probably wouldn't have been quicker.
Right.
It's one of those things. It's just, with all the bridges and things you have to pass over.
I mean, Google
They're
Maps
just
tells
wanting to
you it's going to be an hour 45, but that's...
But it rarely actually happens to be
optimistic.
true. And, I mean, if you're leaving at like 6 a.m. on a Sunday, sure, you can do it in an hour 15 even. But but just with traffic and delays around here. Yeah.
So I got there.
And also, if you're not driving, you can knit.
Exactly. So I thought, what am I going to knit? And I really thought about bringing my socks. And then I thought, disciplined Amanda said, you know what you should do? You should bring your Rhinebeck sweater. So...
That's right. We haven't seen this in a while.
You haven't seen it in like a year.
Is it really that long?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that's
it's
crazy.
Been forever.
Wow. Oh. So pretty.
I brought my, what do you call it?
I know it's the...
Autumn Court.
That's it. I was going to say, I know...
Dragon Hoard.
I know it's
yarn.
by Dragon Hoard, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yay! So, now, it's longer. I knit all this.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Very
Which
good.
is probably like, what? 3 inches?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Oh, easily. 3 plus.
Which in fingering weight, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a lot of stock in
For
that,
like
in fingering.
5 hours. Okay, let me try this on because I want to show you what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yay.
All right.
All right, yeah.
I want to say this feels so good. I'm using the Allegria.
Yeah, very nice.
By Manos del Uruguay,
Mm-hmm.
which the colors are so clear.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
These colors were the brand colors
of your prior company.
of my prior company.
I remember that.
The company is, I don't work there anymore, but I still love their branding, and they've actually moved away from these branding colors, and the marketing girl isn't there anymore, but we're still making the sweater. So this is Allegria, and I tried it on. Now that I have some length here on the body, it has color work at the top. There's a period of like stockinette. There's color work on the bottom, and then a band, and then stockinette on the sleeves, a band of color work around the arms, and more stockinette on the sleeves. So there's quite a bit left to do on this because there's 4 more colorwork sections to do. But I tried it on, and I think it really fits nicely now that I have it on.
Yeah.
It fits nicely around the bust line. I definitely picked the right size. But I think it's going to be looser than I want it to be around the body.
You can taper it a little bit.
Yeah, I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to put in... because I have stitch markers, so I put it on my pearl strings last night to try it on.
I know, I should put my other one on my pearl strings.
And you can see, like, the arms are on pearl strings, too.
Yeah.
Like, that's my stitch holders on the arms.
I love that. It works so well. My favorite new thing.
So I have underarm markers here. I think I'm going to count 5 in on each side. And just do a decrease every 3rd row. You know, until it gets to the diameter I want it to be.
And how long or how tall is the color work at the bottom for the ribbing?
It's
2-3
including
inches?
the ribbing. It's 5.5 inches. So
you don't have a whole lot more to go before you start, though, right?
Probably another 4 inches. It's
Really?
quite a long sweater. It's not cropped.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on how long you want it to be.
Yeah.
Because I know you usually like things more cropped.
Yeah, I'm wearing my high-waisted pants today, so I could do with the cropped sweater like the Soldotna, but usually I don't wear cropped. So, but anyway, so I'm making progress on my Rhinebeck sweater number 1 for this year, but since I'm going to be there 3 days...
That's true. That's true. You can have more than one.
Yeah, so that's why I'm interested
Yep.
in what's our Rhinebeck sweater.
I've been thinking about the Once in Floral.
Sure.
That's whether that should be my Rhinebeck sweater.
The which one?
Once in Floral, Maxim Sear, based on, it's inspired by
Yes.
Schitt's Creek.
Yes.
So remember when Ray and Kevin were here from Needles at the Ready, Kevin had on his, which I loved. I mean, I've always loved it, but it was so nice to see it in person up close and everything.
Is that in DK or is it in worsted?
I think it's in fingering, but if I were to do it, here's the thing. If I were to do it, I would do the Wervel. What I now think of as the Wervel technique. So you do the yoke in
Amy's Neons and Neutrals.
Exactly. You do the yoke in fingering, and then you switch over to DK for the body.
That's smart.
You just double it, and change your gauge. So that would make it go a lot faster.
Yes, it would.
So that's a possibility, and I have yarn set aside for it.
Good plan.
Because, that's been in my mental queue. I don't think it's in my actual queue, but...
No, now I'm thinking yarns you could do that with. You could definitely do that technique with Allegria. We have the Allegria, and we have the Allegria Grande. You have to noodle with it a little bit, because that's a worsted versus a fingering.
I think I was going to do it in Scout. I don't know, I have to look up and see what the actual weight of that is.
Oh, you could probably do it with a cricket. And Lucky Tweed. Again, fingering to Aaron.
Yeah. And I wouldn't mind holding something double, too. You know what I mean? Just to actually, truly double it. Yeah. So, we will see.
You could do it with the La Bien-Aimée. Singles and DK.
Yeah.
Of course.
So, many choices, many options.
Anyway, so this is my...
Yeah, so I definitely
avoid
thinking about Rhinebeck sweaters.
Pearl strings the rest of this. I'm going to switch now.
Switch back. Okay. So,
yay, back.
Yeah.
So, since we're talking about knit-alongs.
Yes, exactly. I am wearing, we're doing things a little bit differently today, which is okay. It's good to mix it up now and then.
Making executive decisions.
on the fly. I'm wearing my Tulsa Tank from our knit along for Blue Sky Fibers.
I'm done!
Yay, I'm done. It really is quick. It was like 3 weeks to the day from when I cast on to when I bound off.
That's so nice.
And finished my edging and everything. So and this is not blocked.
Oh.
Because as we talked about, it's been raining here for like 6 days, and cotton, I knew there was no way it would dry. Sponge. Yeah, there was no way it was going to dry in time. So it's been finished for a few days. Or I think I did the very last over the weekend. I did the neckline. So, and I took some detail shots. I'll send those to you, Amanda. See how, isn't that so pretty? The way
I like this.
When you,
it just like blends into the fabric.
But look on the front, it's not the same.
Yeah,
it's just not as nice. So, I am going to text Jen, who is at the Cape, who I'm sure is working on her mom's version of this. She's making this for her mom, who can't wear wool, and let her know my thoughts on this neckline. And see what kind of suggestions she has, because Jen is
Dr. Jen,
the expert on things like that.
Right.
She will have tried something like this on many things and come up with better alternatives. So, and honestly, I think for a lot of people it's probably fine. I don't think it would bother everybody, but I just think the whole thing is so polished. I just don't think the neckline has that same polished appearance as the rest of the sweater.
Do you know what? I was Asia on
our very newest staff member,
very newest, was wearing cami number 6, I think, from My Favorite Things, and it has a neckline finish that I think would actually match the side here and look very nice.
Oh, cool!
But I don't know.
Nice.
That is also there are matching shorties to that, which are in my queue. Not for
brain
this
queue.
year. Yes, it's actually in my actual queue, which is only about 5 items long.
Wow!
That one has risen to the point of actual queue.
Wow. So anyway, this, we've got a lot of people doing this knit along. One of the things I've thought about possibly is even doing like a little single crochet chain around, or a row single crochet. I am a crocheter as well as a knitter, so that's not a problem for me. I know that's not going to work for everybody, but we will have suggestions by our next episode, and certainly for anyone that's doing the knit along, if you want to change it up a little bit from the way it is. So basically,
and this is bottom up, right?
Yeah, bottom up, exactly. It's got 5 to 6 inches of ribbing. I did 5. It calls for 5.5 actually, and I loved this yarn. This is the Blue Sky printed organic cotton or organic cotton. I chose a solid. Love the color, love the feel of the yarn. It's really nice. And like I said, this isn't blocked. Look how smooth this looks.
Really nice.
It does not, if you're one of those people who, like I usually am, feel like cotton is not as comfortable to work with, it doesn't have that feel, even though it's 100% cotton.
That's great.
It must just be the way it's spun,
so,
implied.
If you want to wait for more neckline news, right? You could finish the back.
It's the
the top.
Yeah.
Up to here, and then just.
Well, it literally, you do everything. You join at the shoulders. You seam the sides. I did mattress stitch. It took like 10 minutes. It's nothing. You may actually want to use a different yarn than the cotton for the mattress stitch. I did use it. I do have a couple of tips on that, actually. So when you're usually when I do mattress stitch, I do like 2 or 3 inches and then I pull to close up the seam. If you do that with this, your first inch is not going to cinch in. So you need to do like
it has more
4
friction.
4 or 5 strands. Yeah. You need to do like 4 or 5 strands and then pull. And so in that way, it takes a little bit longer. But honestly, if you do this to pattern, the side seam is like 12 inches long.
Yeah.
Mine's a little bit longer. I wanted to make mine a little bit longer. But the other thing too, if you did it with a different yarn, if you did it with a worsted or something with, like a superwash worsted or something, I don't think that would affect, how it is in washability or anything, but you could, or something that has a little nylon especially.
That's what I always like to
you could,
find something, especially if I'm using like the belted tweed that you can just go.
Yes, anything where you can pull. And it's funny because it doesn't feel like that while you're working with it. I didn't think I could pull it, but it must have been one of those things where it just, I probably either did a few more stitches than I had been doing, so there was more stress on it. I pulled it and whoop, it pulled right apart. So, but I was almost at the end at that point. I'm like, I'm not going to change now. So I unpicked a little bit and, rejoined them and then kept going. But yeah, do it in short sections or use a yarn other than this yarn for your mattress stitch. So then you do that, and then literally all you have is the sleeve finishing and the neckline finishing. So the sleeve finishing, you pick up around, and then you bind off. You immediately bind off. So it basically makes it like a flat stitch.
Yeah.
It just, and it's that kind of fully fashioned look where you've got a row of decreases and then you've got that right next to it. And just the neckline doesn't have that. It's kind of your normal stair step bind off neckline. So you don't have anything like that. And even the front, you're picking up on bound off stitches. So there's always, I don't love that look anyway. So anyway, we will have suggestions. We will definitely have suggestions. Yay. So I'm making a note right now to text Jen.
She might have little swatches.
Sweater doctor.
Yeah.
But literally it's the last thing you do. So other things that I did differently, I said, I made the ribbing a tiny bit shorter. I made the body a little bit longer. It hits exactly where I'd like. It's like 2 inches below the waistband of my pants. So it's not long, but it's not cropped either. And I dropped the neckline a little bit. And one customer did ask me, the other day about that. She said, it's a little, the way it's written, it's a little bit high. Literally all you need to do to drop the neckline is calculate how many stitches are in your 2 shoulder pieces, basically.
Yeah.
And I did exactly the same bind off and everything. I just did it sooner. So the way the pattern's written, it tells you, with X stitches on this side, bind off your middle 12, and you have X stitches on this side. So just do your math, know how many stitches you've got all together, subtract that center 12, and then, you can do all of your decreases normally, and then you'll just go for longer before you get to the shoulders.
Right.
It's really an easy change.
That's good.
So hopefully that is enough information for those of you who also want to drop the neckline. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy with where this hits.
Yeah, it looks really good.
A little higher, I'd kind of feel like Jen has done. Airball.
Yeah, this one is very high.
Yeah, that's a high one. I dropped the neckline on that too. But that is the way you did it, the way it's written.
I did everything exactly the pattern.
I don't know that I can actually ever say that. Even when I think I haven't,
Y'all don't turn your brains off as much as I do.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, partly, I knit because I want something to be exactly the way I want it.
Yeah.
So and I have, as Jen, I feel like I'm channeling Jen today. I have opinions.
Yeah.
We both have opinions.
Let's see, you did the opening and now you're just like in that
I'm just Jen. So, so that is my only finished object today, and I think that is my only knit-along thing today. So, but also, if you're thinking about doing the Tulsa Tank, I do recommend, like I said, this isn't even blocked yet, and look how nice it looks.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't wait to see it after blocking.
After
I finish the neck.
I would love to make one, but I just have too many large projects
that
I have to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm Jen. I'm coming to you, I would say live, but not live, many days later, from Cape Cod. I'm in Eastham with Great Pond over my shoulder. I think, there's some lighting changes. Sorry, we're outside, so things will be different. So I'm on vacation for the next couple of weeks. I unfortunately have a rash right here, thanks to my delicate, dainty skin interacting with the sun. Not a sunburn, but an actual rash. Good times. Anyway, I have brought a couple of things with me on vacation. Let me start with the Tulsa Tank in my LBA Yarnia bag. Oh, wait, that's not the Tulsa Tank. Let me start with the Tulsa Tank, which I'm almost done with. I have my notes here, and here we go. So here's what I have done. I did my Tulsa Tank in the round, which I think I mentioned on a previous podcast. So when I did it in the round, I'm still going to seam it. And so what I did was I cast on the total number of stitches required for the size I'm making. I'm making this for my mom, so she's coming up today, so we'll be able to have her try it on. I cast on the total number of stitches for the size less 2, because you have 2 selvage stitches on each side, and I only wanted 1 selvage stitch that I would then seam up. So I knit it in the round, and here are my, they're not necessarily lifelines, they're the measuring lines that Kathleen talked about doing in the previous podcast. I think someone's mowing their lawn, so if you hear some growling behind, it's that. So this was where I divided for the underarms. This is where I stopped the armhole shaping, and this is where I began the neck shaping. And I did that on the back, and then on the front, I just did 1 because I was measuring against this to this when I did that. So I did the front shaping as written. The one thing that I did do on both things, I think you can kind of see right here, I moved the decrease in 1 stitch, and that's so I had an easier time picking up for the neck edging. I also did a different neck edging. I don't love a pick up and then bind off edging. I feel like I get the look, like it makes a nice little braid, but I don't love it for me. So what I did was I picked up all the way around, basically as directed, and then I cast on 1 extra stitch or 2 extra stitches, I can't remember which, at the shoulder after doing the pickup, and then I did a 2-stitch I-cord bind off. I like the 2-stitch I-cord bind off because it makes this kind of corded edge. I don't know if you can see, there's 1 stitch here and then there's 1 stitch here, and that really works, I think, nicely to give the same kind of look as the pickup and immediately bind off look, but it doesn't, like, it's not as flippy, and in a thick yarn I wouldn't want to do a 3-stitch because I feel like it would be very raised. It would almost look like corded, and if that's the look you want, then that's the look you want. And I'm going to do the same on the armholes as well. One of the reasons that I did it in the round is because, and I think I mentioned this, but maybe I didn't, I wasn't sure how long my mom was going to want it. So for her, it's easier to adjust the length of something that's knit in the round even from the bottom up, because I can always snip a stitch above the ribbing, unravel it, knit down, and then knit ribbing down. Not a problem, right? If I were doing it in pieces, I would have to unseam it and do that same thing on both pieces. And I don't want to do that. So I figured I would knit it in the round. Oh, my notes are flying. I would knit it in the round with the seam. And then what I'll do, once she tries it on, hopefully today, depending on what time she shows up, I'll take this purl seam right here, and then I'm going to mattress stitch into this stitch and into this stitch and just kind of zip that right up. So you still get the benefits of seaming, but in this case you also get the benefits of knitting in the round. And I think, like, if I had been doing this for me, I probably would have just knit it in pieces and seamed it up, right? Because then it would have required a little bit less math. But I would be able to hold it up to me and say, like, this is how long I want it. But because I'm knitting it for somebody else, it's a lot easier, I think, for me to do it that way. So I've got my needles for my edging. Oh, the one thing I will say for the I-cord edging, I used the same needle size that I used to knit the body. I didn't go down a size. If anything, I would go up a size because I find that the I-cord bind off tends to pull in a little bit. And I think it's a better, it goes nicely around curves and it doesn't get too tight if you do it nice and loose. But so that's my Tulsa Tank. That is in the Blue Sky organic cotton in, can't remember the color, but it's the same color as Grape Stomp in the sweater, which I have a sweater in it, so I'll match my mom. So I brought that, which I think I will finish like today. Maybe not actually like weave in all the ends and whatnot. I also brought some Zoe, which is a pre-project. This is going to be a ranunculus. I need to take a look at Kathleen's notes for her ranunculi, I guess. That's plural of ranunculus, to see what modifications she made, because I really like the way that hers came out, both the laceless and the one with the lace. I'm going to do lace. I think for the Zoe, mine is going to be short sleeve because, I can always use another short sleeve sweater to throw on over dresses. So I'm going to see about, maybe I'll swatch for that. I might actually start it. I might not. It depends on how I do with my next project, which is I brought my stitch markers. I brought my Tsubaki with me, which I haven't worked on for a couple of weeks. So I'm just working on the body. This is my Tsubaki pullover in La Bien Aimée, Amy's Flashy Lipstick, in Super Sock, and Silk Mohair. I've put this on hold for a little while, mostly because I have a sweater class coming up, but also because, I don't know, like, I can put it on hold for a while. I'm not going to wear that with the mohair until probably September, October, at least. So I've got a little bit of time to finish it. So if anyone was in my class and didn't finish their Tsubaki pullover, don't worry, you're fine. Because I haven't finished mine either. But I should put my stitch markers back in before they go flying around. So I'm going to see if I can work on that a little bit. It's going to really depend on the weather because I don't want to work on it when it's hot and sweaty out. But right now it's beautiful and like 70 something and a little humid as it is near like water, but it's really great. So, oh, I almost forgot. My last project is, this is my swatch for Waitha, which is my sweater class that starts on July 9th. There's still room if anyone wants to sign up for it, but God, do swatch. So I'm doing this in the Airy Silk, which is a fingering weight silk. It's very pretty. It's a little, with the backlit, it looks sheer, but it's actually, once you put it on, it's not sheer. See, there we go. And so this is why I swatch, because I did this on 2s, 3s, and 4s. And I have to say the fabric on 4s is loose but drapey. It could be doable. The fabric on 3s is obviously a little bit tighter, and the fabric on 2s is a little bit tighter than that. But the thing is, gauge-wise, I'm all really close. This is all not too far away from each other. I think my 2 and 3 are almost exactly the same stitch gauge. And I measured my stitch gauge over I think 6 inches on this thing. And I measured it before washing and after washing. It was much more different before washing, much more different. Well, whatever. It was different before washing. It's a lot closer after washing. And when I say washing, I literally like let it soak in a sink. And this one, because the Airy silk is naturally dyed, I also used my swatch as kind of like a little test run to see, because I have a tendency to block in hot water because I like to. And I wanted to see, natural dyes tend to take differently to fibers than traditional acid dyes. So I wanted to see if this would run at all. And it, in warm water, it did, the water was a little bit pink, so I rinsed and I just soaked it again in cold water, and I didn't have any running. If I did, I would probably just throw some vinegar and a shout color catcher in there to see. But I really like this, the silk fabric. And I found it easier. It's funny. I found it easier to knit on the 3s than the 4s or the 2s. So I think I'm probably going to go for 3s. I also like the fabric on the 3s. And I've had this swatch kind of floating around in my bag. So I'm going to do some class prep for this. And I may cast on because it's like 300 stitches because fingering weight, yeah. But I also may not. I may just wait and see. And also for the natural silk, I am going to, because it is naturally dyed, every skein is going to be slightly different. So I am going to alternate skeins using a helical method. I find that to be easier when you're knitting in the round and Waitha is knit in the round. But I'm excited for the class. I think it's going to be fun. I'm trying to think what else is going on. So I'm going to be up here for a bit, and then I'll be back, I think, probably by next recording. I want to say I'll be back. And class will have started by then, so we'll get a chance to see what's going on. And I should have the Tulsa Tank finished. I might not have it in hand because my mom's coming up here, so I'm just gonna give it to her. But I'll try to get pictures for Amanda so she can do it. But in the meantime, I hope everybody's summer is going well. My 8th grader is now going officially a high schooler and graduated, and my 3rd grader is now officially a 4th grader. Yay! So we've got like a whole summer ahead of us, and I hope everything's going well with you. And I guess I should guess what number this is going to be. I don't know, like 104? Yeah! I know we're over 100. That's really all I got. All right. Thanks, guys. And I'll see you next time. I hope everybody's having a great time. Bye.
Oh, and wait till you see. I think I brought 4 whips with me, and they are all things that I've worked on in the last, not only the last 2 weeks, the last week.
Well, do you want to talk about a whip then?
Sure. I can talk about a whip. So let's see. Oh, so
because I have no finished object.
Okay.
Except what
you're wearing.
Which is a store sample, and I didn't even wear it here. I just put it on when I got here.
Because
I was like, I thought about it though. That's why I wore the pants. Because I was like, I haven't worn this in a very long time.
Yeah. So my general rule of thumb is when I finish one sweater, then I can start another sweater.
I don't have this rule.
Yeah, I'm much better. I don't mind having a lot of whips, but also if I want to finish something soon, that's one reason. Yeah. Like, if this is a summer sweater, I have 4 summer sweaters I want to make this year. Oh. So we're going to see whether I can actually do that. But that said,
you were talking about that a few episodes ago.
Yeah, well, last episode I had a swatch. I had swatched for it. And so I guess I did start this before I finished this because, I knew I was going to finish this. I mean, I had so little knitting left and everything, and I just, I needed something that was easy. Oh, and this was the thing I was going to put on pearl strings, and then I started talking and neglected to do so. So this is, what else? So I get the name right. It's just called Pyramid. I thought it was the Pyramid Tee, but it's just called Pyramid, and it's by Minimi Knit Design. And she's got some really nice patterns on Ravelry. Her name is Christina Gerlanda. And she's, it's funny, I don't even know how I came across this one, because I haven't really seen anyone else specifically talking about making it lately. but I liked the look of it. One of the reasons that I liked the look of it is that it is very much like the Carbeth. It's like that Carbeth silhouette, which is one of my favorite sweaters. So Carbeth silhouette basically is sort of triangular, which is, where the name pyramid comes from. So everything comes out from the center point. I'll go ahead and bring this up so you can see the details a little bit.
And not only the details, but also note the color coordination that has gone into this whip.
Oh, always. Always. Oh, even my stitch markers, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it just, you know what? Because I only buy orange, right? Oh, that was that. Okay, so this is, actually, that's the center back. This is the center front. It's funny. So it reminds me of a couple of things. It reminds me of the Carbeth because of the triangular shaping in the yoke. It reminds me of the Weekender because it's got that nice little chain down the center and reverse stockinette. And you do knit it with, basically you knit it inside out. So when you're beginning the sleeves, you're working stockinette, reverse stockinette for the sleeves, but stockinette. So here's your reverse stockinette. Boom, whole area of that for the sleeves. Is it going to focus? There we go. So that's my sleeve, which is consistent the whole way down. And then you're working regular stockinette for the body, which becomes reverse stockinette once you've got your sleeve separated off and you're onto just the body. So it's cleverly done. So I'm almost up to the sleeve divide on this. And again, so this is Nev, which is a Juniper Moon Farms yarn that was discontinued a couple of years ago. I think we had just gotten a giant order right before they discontinued it, because we have made things from it. We've sold it, whatever, and it's lovely. And, maybe I'm just getting to be a better cotton knitter. I don't know, because honestly, this one is not bothering me either. I feel like, it's pretty darn even for something that's unblocked that's cotton. But this is coming along, and I hope to wear it in the next podcast.
So that one's top down. Yeah.
Top down. This doesn't have a finished neckline. Literally, you just cast on and then go. I feel like this is already kind of growing a little bit. I can see myself for sure doing like a crochet chain around just to stabilize it.
Yep.
So,
makes sense.
yeah. And again, you could do the same thing as is done with this. Well, on the sleeves of this, you could pick up a row and then bind it off right away. It would kind of have the same effect. Which actually, maybe I'll even do that, because I love the way the sleeves look. Which you can do with a nice smooth line.
Yeah.
So that is Pyramid. So that is my whip number 1. Let's see. So, we mentioned Nitty Natty earlier, and...
Oh! Are you talking about sock week?
I'm not talking about sock week, but we can do like a Nitty Natty inspired section.
Oh, I know.
Why don't we do that?
I was watching her and I'm like, sock week is coming up. So while I took this on the train and to the plane, I was watching. I download YouTube videos to my phone because it uses less battery. Yeah. Than trying to get the Wi-Fi, and when you're in the tunnel, it still works. Yeah. Also a good tip when you're going on a plane. So I had downloaded several of her episodes and was watching, because I have been super busy. I haven't been watching as much as I usually do. So I got a good chance to catch up. And so this was all, but yeah, her sock week is coming up. I'm like, I'm going to finish a sock. Not a pair. I'm going to finish a sock. Maybe 2 socks. I might finish of different pairs. I might finish the one of Chad's that needs to complete his pair, plus the first one from Helen Stewart's. That would be a nice sock week goal. 1 week. I can do it.
Yeah. Totally. And it's even, I think it's like 9 days or something. I think it's including weekends on each end or something.
8 days or something.
Yeah,
so
maybe 8, yeah.
I've got to see whether I can sign up, because it's July 8th week, I think.
I don't even know, because I'm not planning on doing it. I definitely have not really been very into the socks lately, but I
think it's July 8th week. So if you're interested, I really think I'm going to do it. So now I'm talking myself into it.
Sounds like.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. So
tell me if you're coming too. That'll be fun.
Yeah. So Natalie's latest project, she's been doing a lot of blankets lately. And
Oh my gosh.
I have had the Battenberg Blanket in my favorites since I saw it whenever, a couple of years ago, I guess. I have always loved it. And this actually, I wonder if this other blanket is by the same, no, it's not by the same person. But I started another multicolor fingering weight blanket a while back. I don't know, this is like a year or 18 months ago. I started these flowers in the snow.
Yep.
Centers. And I have about 18 of these. I kind of group them by sixes, so they're easy. I make 6 at a time. When I was doing these, I made 6 at a time, and then I just grouped them, so I knew I got to a certain point, and then I was going to lay them out and everything. And I had really put this aside for a long time. I don't even know how long it's been. And it was in an easy-to-reach place. Like, I could have reached for it. I mean, I definitely have whips that, like, are hard to find right now. But this was not one of them. I knew exactly where it was. I had all my yarn set up in, it was actually one of those apple containers that you get at Costco, so I had my little choice of palette and everything, and, I saw it at least once a week, and I was like, yeah, I should get back to that thing. But sometimes when you don't get back to something, to me, that's a sign that it's really not meant to be. So...
Bobble sweater.
There you go, which is totally fine. So... While I was watching Natalie, I've been watching on her Instagram every day. She's, working on this Battenberg blanket. I'm like, I really want to do a Battenberg.
Yeah.
But I've got flowers in the snow sitting there waiting to be finished. I suddenly realized I can make a pillow with these.
Oh, that's a perfect idea. Oh my
I have
goodness.
18 rounds. I do need to square them off. So yeah, let me give you the info on the flowers in the snow. It is on somebody's blog. I don't think it's a purchased pattern. I think it's just on somebody's blog. It's Solgrim, SOLGRIM.blogspot.com.
Yep. I'll
So
have to link
it's
down
on
there.
it's on Ravelry for sure. But I think because it was just on a blog, I did my little pictures. I made my own pattern basically, and since I was only working on the centers, that's as far as I got. It literally says to be continued.
Oh my goodness.
So I will. So I'll go find out how I do the, and the reason this is flowers in the snow is you've got all of these colors on a white background, which I love that. And it's very similar to the Battenberg. That's the other, I think they both kind of hit the same spot in your hue of things that you want to have in your home or whatever. But I love the idea of making this into a pillow. So I'm going to finish these 18. I'm going to join them. I'm thinking about doing it diagonally, which I think would be really cute.
Yeah.
So anyway, maybe you'll see this next time. Maybe you won't. But anyway, that's what's happening with that. And I'll probably at least do the squares. I'll get started on those. Because really, I have gotten to the point where I feel like a little crochet thing like this is such a great portable thing.
Yep.
Because once you get going with it, and you'll see later in our winners, you don't even have to look at the pattern anymore. And that to me is like the essential component of a travel project or an on-the-go project. You want something where you don't need to be referring to a pattern
Like
while you're out and
stockinette.
about. Exactly, stockinette in the round. Hats. Yep. We'll talk about what people said about their, what their favorite travel projects are. But anyway, I last night did my first 6 squares of my Battenberg blanket.
Yeah.
So I had never done a solid granny square before. Have you ever done one? This is what they call a solid granny square. So basically it is, I probably should go up there.
So are you doing
Try
it
not
just
to.
a pattern? Because I know Natalie said she was adding an extra round.
She's adding an extra round, exactly. And I am not adding an extra round. And one reason is that I'm a really loose crocheter.
Oh, yeah.
So these are only 3 rounds, and they are about, they're about 3 1/4 inches wide. I did do one that was, 4 rounds, and it actually was too big. I felt like for me it wasn't going to work. So these are the colors that I had pulled aside for my flowers in the snow. So I've got my yarn ready to go because it was already allocated to another project. I don't even think I've graded the Battenberg and Ravelry yet, which I'll probably do when I go home today. But I'm excited about this. And I don't even know how to describe the palette because it is all things that are left over, but it's not any leftover fingering. It's kind of pastels and brights, except for this teal. I don't know.
Yeah. But that goes with this one.
It does.
Yeah.
And some of them I know.
That goes with the yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So
that's great.
yeah, and of course we've got lots of orange. So I was thinking I may actually, because I have I don't know, 5 skeins of citrus and top sock at my house for various reasons. It's one of those things that I tend to buy and be like, oh yeah, I need this for this. I might have maybe like 20 or 25% of it will be orange, and then everything else will be different colors. We'll see. We'll see as it develops. But I'm excited and motivated by this right now.
I love that. I am close to the end of my Pokemon blanket.
Yeah.
And the thought of starting another blanket that had all the seaming was like putting me over the edge. Mm-hmm. And then she said, "You join as you go."
You join as you go. Yeah.
With the solids.
Once you start working the solids. Yep.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this too.
Yeah.
But I can't. I'm not doing it. But
not this year anyway,
not
right?
This year. No, but that is now in my mental queue, not my actual queue on Ravel.
So
I really like the join as you go thing.
Yeah, definitely. And this is just from somebody's Instagram. Like Flowers in this. Battenberg is also a free pattern. It's written in British terms, but it does have a couple of pages with the American terms as well. And it was a pretty long pattern, so I just had already screenshotted something from Instagram that I'm not doing those colors, but I wasn't sure if this was there's like a picot border. This is actually the way it's written, and I love it. I think it's like the perfect edging for it.
What that might be? 2024. I have been wanting to do an advent that I make myself. Or do or you know what I mean? Like get all my socks and whatever, all my leftover stuff, and sort of like put together a little advent for myself.
Yeah.
Or maybe trade with somebody else, or combine things, like kind of collect, I don't know. But Nitty Natty's using her advent.
Right.
20 grams.
Yep.
So.
And she gets 6 squares out of it. And it's funny, I'm so much looser that mine were about 2.5 grams each. So. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm getting close to as many with 1 round less.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
But so that is most of my whip. So so one blanket kind of transformed into the other, but I'm gonna get a pillow out of it too.
Well, we can talk about crochet blankets.
And I'm really happy. Yeah, go. I think let's continue with the crochet blanket thing.
I have been working on. We had our meetup last week. Our penultimate meetup for Hooked on Grannies. Yeah. So I started Charmaine. This is the beginning of Charmaine.
I did that one. I like that one a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm on row 13 of 19. But I could have taken this with me on the train yesterday, but that would have been a whole lot of balls of yarn.
Yeah, that exactly. When it's at that stage, not a good travel project.
Not a good travel project. But yeah. So this is Charmaine. You'll. Yeah. And she's coming along well. We have one more Zoom meetup for Hooked on Grannies. We're going to do Heather is the last square, and that is on July 16th in the evening. Heather, one of our knit-alongers, or crochet-alongers, has already started, because she finished all of her Charmaine, so at the June one, she started Heather. And
had you guys already picked that out previously?
Yes, yeah. And she's like, guys, there's so many puff stitches in this. It's
I kind of feel like I might have done that one too. It sounds
stacked,
familiar.
Like it's very
very puff stitchy.
Very puff stitchy. And I said that was strategy to put that last, because I figured like
no one's gonna want to do anymore after that one.
Right. So it's beautiful, but there was lots of puff stitches going on, and so that's the last one that that we're doing, and then our crochet along will be done. So these guys, I still have, I'm still going to have a lot to finish. Obviously, this is my first Charmaine. I'll have another Charmaine to finish. I've got 1 month. I think we figured out it was March that I didn't do either of them. And then I have one left for May. I have this one left another one left for June after this, and then both of the July ones. So I've got like probably 7 to catch up on. And then I have to do one center one, because 2
you've got to pick
for each month is 24, and I want a 5 square blanket, so that's 25 I need. I could do a 6x4 blanket, but I'm going to do a 5 square.
If you want it to be square, I think this is a square sounds really cool.
So I'll just pick one that we didn't do, and I think I picked it last time, and then I forgot what I picked.
We'll have to rewatch the podcast and see.
So this is, again, Hooked on Grannies by Hooked on Sunshine, and I'm knitting in the King Called Cotton, which I crocheting in king gold cotton, which I love. And this is going to be a lovely blanket when I'm finished with it, which will probably be middle of 2024. I think. I don't think this is going to
by the time you do all the joining and everything. Yeah. And border. I know the border. I remember when I did my mom's, and hers is a lap blanket. I did 12 squares.
Yep.
The board. I was thinking the border. It's a couple of days. It was. Because and yours is even bigger. I mean.
Right. Yeah. Well, I remember doing Teddy's blanket. Some of the rounds once you get to the end, you have to.
So many stitches.
You have to. If you have a deadline, like I had to. Moving along. Oh, it won't be done till next year. Oh, and the rounds take forever.
Right.
Yes, they do.
And so you know what? If we need to do the winter and everything solo, I can do that.
Okay.
But let's see if we can get through it together.
Yeah, I have a phone call that I must be in front of my computer for at 11. So we will see.
She's got to be on the other camera.
Yes. Okay. I started because I don't have enough big projects. I started another project this week.
I love the way we've been like so in synchronicity all through this episode. Because, I started another project, but a small project this week. Just because 4 active whips is not enough, or 3. Yeah.
I started, and my other project is also a Hooked on Sunshine project.
Ah, nice.
Yay. Because I have news. Did you see my news?
No, I did not.
I'm going to be a grandma.
Oh my god. Oh my god, are you kidding? Tell me more.
In January.
Wow.
So, Catherine, the opera singer, if you watched, and who turned 21. Yeah, she and her partner are having a baby.
Oh my
January.
God.
She's super excited. That's like since she was like little, she has been dying to be a mom. Like she's super excited.
And she's so good with all the littles. Like I know how Abby loves her and adores her, and she's so good with your younger kids. Oh my god.
And she loved being
exciting.
The kid of a young mom, and so she's really excited to
like,
be young and active and like in tune with what the kids are doing and all that jazz. So, I started Ardith by Hooked on Grannies.
Oh, how fun. Oh my god.
So, I'm doing this. They don't know the gender yet, and they will find out. They're finding out at the anatomy scan at 20 weeks, and she's like 13 weeks now. I'll put a little picture in her little announcement.
So sweet.
She did a really sweet like Instagram and Facebook post. I mean, of course, I've known for I knew what partner did because it was like, I'm mom.
Wow.
Even if you're like expecting it, when you see that positive, it is a little bit like, no matter how many times you do it. But anyway, so I started Ardith. I looked through, I love Hooked on Sunshine.
Yeah.
I made Hooked on Sunshine for Teddy's baby blanket, the blue one he had Atlanticus. We've been doing Hooked on Grannies all this year. I knew that I wanted to do a Hooked on Sunshine for Catherine, and this is going to be the blanket that she's planning to bring the baby home from the hospital in. And Hooked on Sunshine has Ardith as both like as a big queen size bedspread, but she also made a baby girl version, like a baby. Well, our baby version. It's in pinks and yellows on the thing. So anyway, so I was like, oh, that's perfect because it's about 40 inches by 40 inches, which is what I like for a baby blanket. So let me bring this up, and I'm using instead of doing all the colors, because just like this, right? Like every row is a different color. That's how it's done in the pattern. But a lot of people make them in solid colors.
Yeah, and it is a beautiful technique. It really is. I do love the single color crochet.
So I'm using the King Cole Cherished, which is an amazing acrylic yarn, no pill. She can be like put it in the wash in the dryer, and like it she can use it every day, but it's still going to look like beautiful and lacy. So the beginning is like all these popcorn stitches and then puff stitches, and then I've been working on that. So I actually took this. We went to the New York Air Show on Sunday with all the kids. And I was like, again, what am I going to take? Not a sock. I'll start this. So that's what I worked on the way, which the air show was up near Rhinebeck. So we were actually passing it in Chad's Lake.
Is that, is it right near, is it in like Rhinebeck? Is it?
Basically.
Yeah, because I know there is an airfield there. There's like I forget exactly, it's like a vintage airfield or something?
Yeah.
I don't know what they call it. It's got some kind of funny name.
It was really cool.
Nice.
My partner was really into, like, that kind of stuff. And he's like, let's bring the kids.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
That sounds totally like an activity kids would get into.
I'll put a little clip in here of the Blue Angels flyover, which was very cool to see in their formation. That is something that I... admire knitting and they're like, I could never do that. That's something that
that's why I could never do that.
That's why I could never do that.
Yeah.
Ever. So, yeah, that's amazing. Those folks are great, really athletes. So, have people jumping out of planes and like no parachute for.
Oh my God!
I know. they pulled a parachute like at the end, but like a lot of falling with no parachute.
That would actually stress me out. I think I don't know that I would enjoy that fully.
So
it all ended well. We take it, right?
Everything ended well. Well, except that Teddy got sick and threw up his hot dog. But that's what it's like when you go to something hot outside with 4 children.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Oh, wow.
So that's all my news. I think that's all my news.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. That is news. That is for sure news. Exciting.
So you'll see a lot of baby things over the next.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. When I've been saying my queue is full, that's what I've been thinking about. It's like, I can't make anything else.
And you know what? I will have to. Well, we'll see. We'll see if it's boy or girl. But I love those Florence Merlin sweaters.
Oh yeah, I know.
One of the Florence Merlin sweaters.
They're so fun. I told Catherine, I said, brace yourself.
Well, remember when, I guess, was
Charlie?
It Charlie? Yeah.
When Charlie was born. Oh, my goodness.
Because I think the whole Montclair knitting store, you must have gotten 50 knitted and crocheted items. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Because, everyone loves to knit and crochet for a baby.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Oh my God, that's so exciting.
Yay. Y'all couldn't help me think of a good grandma name. I liked Mimi, but nobody likes Mimi.
Oh, I like Mimi. I think that's cute.
Yeah. So if you've got another good one that's doesn't sound too old.
Mm-hmm. My sister Mary goes by Nona, but also her husband's Italian, so it's Nona, and I forget what Peter goes by, but we always called my mom Nana, which I think Nana's cute. I don't know. But it does have that older connotation. So yeah, Mimi is cute. I like Mimi.
I went to go see La Boheme like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, that works. Mm-hmm. But then everybody associated it with Rent, and they're like, that's not as cool, Mom. Like, come on.
Oh well.
Anyway.
All right. So I have one more quick project to talk about, and then we've got to do our winter and new in store.
Yes.
All right. So and actually, my quick project is related to new in store, so we'll kind of join that in. Yeah, Amanda's got 16 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do it.
And my partner is just, that was what she's messaging me. She's like, I'm running late. You'll have to do the first 10 to 15 minutes yourself. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, well, you're good if you leave it a quarter out, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things we restocked was our Hardicraft kits. So we've got adorable knitted kits. And I had put one of these aside.
I wanted to do one of these Dooza bunnies. I love them. They're like so good for holding on to.
The Nora cat aside, and I had wanted to make one as a store sample. And then when I finally got around to doing it, we didn't have any more. And so we had just placed an order. So when this order came in, I started Nora Cat, and these are the little girls that we just restocked. April, May, and June. They are so cute. These are all on our website because, like we said, they were restocked, so we've had them. Yeah, we got these Hardicraft kits about a year ago. You found them at H&H when you went to that last year.
And she has a girl. Not like for newborn, but
when they're a little older. And then I had to pull a couple of my favorite crochet as well, even though I'm not doing crochet right now. So these are the two little dinosaurs that we
so the girls are all knitted.
Yeah, they're all knitted. Yeah. And it is so nice that we have both knit and crochet. So no matter what craft you do.
I like that.
But yeah, this Nora cat is zipping along. She's so cute. So I started, and basically it's knit flat, and then you join it and seam it.
Oh.
So, so she's gonna, I started this last night. This was last night, like at midnight. I'm I am gonna, because I had started it. Actually, one thing it tells you is to do knit front and back for your increases, but that makes too much of a hole. So I wound up
it also
doing
makes like a pearl bump looking thing.
exactly. Yeah, it's like a hole with a pearl bump over it. So it's really emphasized. So I wound up going back and doing right leaning make ones.
Nice.
So I think that looks, it's much smoother, and basically it makes the feet it's really a very cute and clever design. It makes the feet. So this definitely should be done next time.
Adorable. Oh my goodness.
So that's that. And it just, it's like I needed an easy, quick little knitting project. And I do still have my Sophie shawl it's within reach too, but I don't know. I just was wanting to make this, and now that we've got them back in, it seemed like the time to do it.
I have my black sweater, which is just stockinette.
Right. That's your quick, easy. All right, so let's talk about our winner from last time, and then and maybe we should make the Rhinebeck sweater our question, right? We don't.
Well, we should. I mean, I would love to know what it's going to be. So, people can start planning and get their yarn together, and then we can actually start in August and not in September and have a panic.
Or even July.
What?
Yeah.
That would be lovely.
Yeah. All right, so
you're talking to the planners today.
Yeah, for sure.
We're like, let's prepare in advance and know what we're going to do.
Yeah, I don't like knitting under stress. I really don't. I don't know. So our question from last time was, what is your favorite travel project? And as you might guess, many people said socks.
Yeah.
I didn't really do an analysis of this because it was pretty clear. Like, socks were a big winner. Hats were probably next. The next was just kind of what Amanda just said, a sweater that's at the point of stockinette in the round or flat, or just something easy. You don't have to refer to the pattern too. Our winner also had an easy thing, but hers is crochet. So our winner is Stephanie Plummaker 4023, and she brings granny squares as her travel project. She said, I'm bringing granny squares while we do our little travels. Quick, easy, no need to keep up with the pattern.
That's a good plan.
Which we totally get. And I think, based on the picture, that Stephanie is one of our new regulars at Knit Night in the store.
Yeah.
So, but I was telling Amanda this when I got here. Excuse me. Usually we had 111 comments. I drew a number. Usually it's 30s, 40s, 50s. Number 2. So Stephanie was the second one to comment on our video, and so she is our winner. So.
So if you too want to be number 2 in the comments, like and subscribe down below.
There you go. Exactly.
And you'll be notified when our podcast comes up.
Yeah. And also, I do want to mention that our winner from the prior episode, the person who commented on episode 102, Moa Girl, has not yet claimed her prize. So if you are or know Moa Girl, and I think it was Moa Girl 5, take a look and get back to us with your info so we can send you your prize.
Yeah, because you have 2 weeks.
Two more weeks, exactly. Yeah. So it's 4 weeks from when we mentioned you in our video. So I will, we'll probably see Stephanie on Wednesday, and she can pick her skein of Lana Mia Uni. So our new in store and prize for this episode is Go Knit bags, which you saw one of them here. We've carried and also great for travel. I mean, perfect summer kind of bag.
They are perfect.
Yeah, you want to grab the ones because we showed these in our clip at the picture at the beginning.
We just got a total restock.
A huge order. So the zips are fairly new. I don't know exactly when they came out, but they're fairly new. We stocked 4 colors of the smalls, which are great for socks or a hat. We've got 4 or 5 colors of the medium with the zip, which is what my Nora cat is in. And then we've got 3 colors of the large, which you really can bring a sweater in.
Yeah, definitely.
And
it can snap.
You can snap it to something.
Yeah. Snap it to something.
And these are not just done for us, but they do have orange as all their accents, which of course makes me love them even more. Right?
Yep. And like this one, you can throw it over your shoulder like that, or it has 2. And
you can literally even wear it as a backpack.
I'm twisted. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the way it is, it's attached to the bottom, so you can wear it as a backpack. So,
like this would be awesome at the airport.
Yeah, exactly, and it just it adds no weight to your project, but it's strong and secure.
Yeah.
So if you want to win one of any of our new stock of the Go Knit bags, let us know if you're already thinking about a Rhinebeck sweater, and what would you vote for as a Rhinebeck sweater this year.
Yeah, I know we're going to be talking more about Rhinebeck sweaters as we get closer to it, but if we can, and if you know of people that are putting out patterns aside from, I'm sure we'll know about Andrea's as soon as it comes out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I haven't been in the YouTube loop as much recently just because of other obligations. Graduation, new babies.
Yep.
All sorts of things.
Yep.
Other word that I've got to get to. But like, I need the tea, bullets.
Yep. Yeah. And I know we have asked this question before. We asked it before the last run back. But, you know, it's a perennial question. So
it is a perennial question.
So we always, you know, and there are new designs every year. There are new patterns that are coming out. But I agree with Amanda. It's like you want something that's got some visual interest. You know, usually multiple colors is good.
But not too hard to accomplish so that it's accessible
in a fairly short time. Exactly.
Lots of different levels of knitters.
Isn't that teal so pretty?
Yeah, I would love to be able to show off some hand-dyed yarn because, like you can see, most of the sweaters I'm knitting are in solids. I don't use our hand-dyes as much, but I would love to. Not for sweater knitting. I don't wear them. Sorry, I'm just dumping everything because I'm showing.
That's okay. Yeah, show the colors. That is a good idea. And we got navy. We tried. You know, we got some more. You know, masculine colors, more feminine colors, more everybody colors.
Yeah.
I love the gray actually too. I think the gray with the orange. Well, because it looks like Yarnia.
Yeah.
It looks like our
really,
walls.
Kathleen? Do you like gray with orange?
I know, right? Imagine that. Actually, as I'm holding it against the wall, it blends in almost perfectly.
Yeah, it does.
See, you know, we have a palette, right? All right, so I think, and I'm sure at some point, we're hoping we had a video from Jen. You will have seen it by now, but...
or I might put it in at the end as a travel vlog, but in any event, yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks so much for watching, and we will be back in another 2 weeks, and be sure to like and subscribe, like Amanda said, and comment if you would like to win one of these very fun project bags.
If you want to
and if you want to influence our choice of...
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Shop Yarnia. You can sign up for our newsletter at our website, shopyarnia.com. Just scroll down to the bottom of any page. Put your email address in the end, and that's how you find out about stuff first.
Yep, and like what we're going to put on sale on the website for July, which I have built some things in the office. Nice. So we are going to, I think we missed updating it for June, but we're back on it for July.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.